Our session today, our talk today, will be about pathological narcissism, which is a nice, heavy topic. I personally think that it's a miracle, not a miracle, but I think it's a huge breakthrough that pathological narcissism and narcissism even has a name now and it's being discussed. I think in human history, this has got to be one of the biggest breakthroughs ever.
Was in Freud's time. Freud never had this term, right? I mean, other people,
Freud?
yeah, and like other,
Yeah, I don't know what he said about it.
or if he even identified it.
Oh,
I
I
don't know.
see, I
mean,
see.
I wonder. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, maybe he had a different word for it or something, or maybe he started it. I don't know. But the idea that it's here now is amazing. Of course, a lot of people misapply it
mhm.
and use it incorrectly, and just use it as pejorative.
Everybody is a narcissist. Got to
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Everybody that gets
blanket
divorced,
statement.
yeah,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
everyone that gets divorced got divorced from a narcissist.
Right. Yeah. But actually, my friend, she said her grandmother was a narcissist,
Mm-hmm.
and now she's talking about her cousin as well.
Mm-hmm.
But that was in their family as well.
Right.
Now, I'm not sure to what degree.
Yeah.
But I mean, she's also quite aware and educated type of thing. She's using the term correctly.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
knows
right.
what it means, but,
Yeah. So it can be used correctly, but
yeah.
anyway, even if it's being used incorrectly, it's still a massive breakthrough. Which, I mean, this type of meeting is supposed to help clarify and do it properly. Um, I think I'd like to start. Okay, so why do this is because of survivability. Really, the more you know about it, the more survivable you are, and instead of just using the word but applying it correctly, is going to be fantastic. Okay, so I think what I'll do is I'll go through. I think I'll start out with a story illustrating it, and then we'll go into the definition, and then we'll do some personal stories about it, and then at the end, basically how to apply it. And applying it really means how to deal with narcissists. Now, I use the word dominate narcissists, and a lot of people don't like that. That's kind of triggering. But at the end of the day, I think that's actually a good word. So I'll try it out on you. All right, so here's how I wanted to start it out with a thought experiment. And this is a famous thought experiment, which we went over in the last video. I used that also back then. It's called Plato's Allegory of the Cave. And so I'll describe how that works. It's basically there's a cave, and there's a bunch of people in the cave, in this dark cave. And they're basically forced to sit together and face one way. They're chained, I guess. And they're forced to face the wall of the cave. And across that cave is movement of shadows, just two-dimensional shadows dancing across the cave. Silhouettes of people, but other silhouettes of other things. And this is all the people can see. They've grown up that way. The parents that their parents, that's all the parents have known. So the parents can't say anything different. So the children grow up that way. And everybody's just locked into this kind of two-dimensional gray drab world. And then, by whatever means, this one person, who we'll call the philosopher, takes his chains off, gets up, and walks around to the back. And in the back, he can see that there's a bunch of bonfires. And these bonfires are actually casting the flickering light onto the wall that everyone's looking at. And there are actual people walking back and forth in front of these fires. And it's their shadows that are being cast onto the wall. And this is what people see. But also there are people actually carrying objects in front of the fire, which are also casting shadows on the wall. Okay? So everybody down there is just mesmerized by these things, and they can't look behind them to see this, but the philosopher saw it. So the philosopher now continues past this group, towards the light, and he eventually emerges out of the cave into the sunshine. And he's out there and he can see color, light, animals, butterflies, basically three-dimensional animals, and color and light and all that. So at first it hurts his eyes. It's just too much. It's overwhelming. He can only peek out every now and again, but eventually he gets used to it and he can see there's a whole other world out there. So what does he do? He goes back in the cave and he walks by those figures which are casting the shadows on purpose, deliberately to mesmerize the people. And he goes down to the people and he tries to shake them awake and say, hey, come with me outside. It's amazing out there. You wouldn't believe it. And the main response he gets is they're cursing him, yelling at him, holding their hands over their ears, and even plotting to kill him, to shut him up. Okay? So this allegory is kind of like a metaphor for what it's like to be a philosopher. Yes, you can go out into the sunshine, but it's not going to be all sunshine and roses when you go back in the cave. Okay? People are very resistant to change.
You threaten their status quo.
Threaten the status quo, yeah.
Threaten their comfort zone.
Yeah, all the comfort zones.
Even though it may be painful or not good, they're still known. They're still comfortable that way because they know what's happening and know what to expect.
Right. The devil I know. Is there,
Mm-hmm.
there's
Yeah.
the same like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so now there's some things that are kind of interesting about this metaphor that I never really hear about. And it's like the people casting the shadows, and I said this last time, what about them? Like, they're not, do you ever get curious about who they are and what is their motivations and why are they doing this? I mean, the philosopher, he walked by them, ignored them,
Mm-hmm.
and tried to reason with the captives. Meanwhile, the shadows are continually playing across the wall,
Mm-hmm.
continually hypnotizing him. So he's trying to work against that. And so he's ignoring the root cause. And so no wonder he's getting so little.
Mm-hmm.
So to be proactive, you would actually go after the source. You'd go after the people doing it, right? So I don't know why in this metaphor they get a free pass. And I don't think that that was the point of his metaphor, of his allegory. The point was to talk about politics and all these different things and how to get out of, and how to do politics properly and all that. But here's what I think. I think that Plato, unwittingly and unknowingly, actually described the whole phenomenon of pathological narcissism in his allegory.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's not what he meant to do,
Mm-hmm.
but I swear he did it.
Mm-hmm.
Because why not? Because pathological narcissism shows up back then
Mm-hmm.
exactly the same way it does now, and everyone experiences it.
Yeah.
So why not? But of course, they didn't have the word narcissism, pathological narcissism.
Mm-hmm.
They had no way to describe it, but a lot of people know it instinctively. Like children growing up with a pathologically narcissistic parent, they kind of go like, "There's something wrong here, man.
Mm-hmm.
I can't put my finger on it, but this is not right."
Mm-hmm.
So the way to look at Plato's allegory of the cave in another way, and again, I don't think he meant it this way, but it sure is accurate, is that the pathological narcissists they can't leave the cave ever. Unlike the other people whose eyes might be hurt by going out into the light, what's different about these pathological narcissists, they're stuck there forever. If they went out into the light, they would dissolve into dust like a vampire would. There is no exit for them. There is no outside. They are there forever in the cave. And so they don't want to be alone. So they don't want normal people leaving the cave. Because if everybody left the cave that could, they would just be down there by themselves.
But also because they need external significance. They don't have internal significance. Therefore, they need the audience of the people give them that external significance.
Right. So if everybody left, see, they're already a nobody, right? They know it.
Yeah, yeah.
The only way they can maintain a vestige of being a somebody is by reflecting off of what these other people, by manipulating these other people. So, like Cam is saying, if these people left the cave, there would be nobody left but them. There would be no audience.
No audience, right?
Right.
So, yeah.
So you wonder, well, what's their motivation for building a fire, casting a shadow, putting people in chains, and all that? Well, this is their motivation because they're completely nobody. And that's why they can't go out into the light, because the light would destroy them, not just hurt their eyes. So I think that
Well, like you said earlier as well, the people that are in the shadow on the facing the wall, they grew up that way. So the pathological narcissist also grew up that way as well, in a sense, right? I mean, that's what they know, they learned.
that's all they know.
They don't know anything different either, right? I mean,
Yep. Except
that they can't do something else.
Right.
I guess, right? I mean,
they can't do anything else. But guess what they have learned, though? Guess what they have learned that
They've
we
learned
have
how to
learned?
control those people.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. To maintain that status quo of their external significance and their control.
Yeah. So why are they, though, if they're so insignificant, why are they controlling other people? Is my question, right? Like if they're like the gutter crawlers, how do they manage to do that? Well, the thing is that I have a saying called the pathological narcissist will always pretend to be the only adult in the room. The average person will loathe to be the only adult in the room or loathe to admit when they are. And only the real adult will accept that they may be the only adult in the room and behave accordingly. So what I'm saying is that the pathological narcissist sunk so low that they will do anything to not admit this. So what they do is they extremely overcompensate. So they know that they're a little child and everyone else is going to be an adult. What they do is they just become the biggest adult there. Like they just skip over everything and pretend to be an adult because there is no other. They're stuck at 3 years old or they pretend to be now. Nothing in between. So this is why, in a way, when I talk about being proactive as being purely an adult activity, this is why they're being proactive. Other people are just being passive or reactive. If the narcissist is a child, how can it inhabit the adult sphere of proactivity? Because they are proactively lighting the fire, casting the shadow. They understand the root cause of how to keep people hypnotized. They're experts at it. So where does all this proactivity come from? What I'm saying is that they're pretending to be adults. And so they are picking up on proactivity as adult feature. But of course, it's poisonous as hell.
Right.
So they're not doing it correctly.
Well, it's like any tool. They can use it for good or bad. Using the tool for activity for, say, bad purposes. I mean, it suits their purpose. I mean, they stay in control, they stay in power, they stay significant.
Yeah.
But it's bad for the other people, right? I mean,
yeah.
So they learned how to use this tool, you could say, right? And use it very effectively.
They use it very effectively on an infantile level.
Right.
In a way, right? Adulthood at an infantile level.
Right.
So they're using this to benefit themselves. And the people that are captive in the cave, they basically are like the average person who would never want to admit that they're the only adult. And so they remain stuck by choice.
Yep.
And even when the philosopher comes back and tells them it's much better out there, they're by choice. They're actually saying, "No, I'm fine right here, and you're a bad man."
Don't mess with my status quo.
Yeah. Boy, oh boy. So, so in the cave, actually, what you've got is the majority of people don't want to be an adult, but they hope somebody will be.
Mhm.
What happens is the narcissist pretends to be that adult,
Mhm.
and the average person is mollified. Even though these are the most poisonous people, they're nothing like a real adult at all.
Mhm.
But just them pretending to be an adult, fine. I'm good with that.
Mhm.
And then when the real adult shows up, well, the narcissists lose their freaking minds
Mhm.
because this is like walking death to them because the real adult can see right through them, like right through a window, and there's no hiding. So this is why they're so afraid of them. And the average person also loathes the real adult because before they didn't feel like a child.
Mhm.
But when the adult shows up, then immediately you feel like a child. But of course, whose fault is that? It's always the philosopher's fault
Right.
for making me feel bad.
Could blame you. Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, in a way, this Plato's allegory of the cave is a what do you call it? A warning to philosophers about what to expect if you're actually going to do philosophy.
Mhm.
And actually, there's a book I read by Stefan Molyneux, the Canadian philosopher, the modern Canadian philosopher, and it's called The Art of the Argument. And so he does that. He talks about how to argue properly, how good it is to argue, how once you learn how to argue properly, you'll never go back to the old way. Once you learn how to argue philosophically, proper discipline. But then his book is filled with warnings. Like, yeah, do it, but just I'm letting you know what's coming. You can't just go to your family and just say, la di da, look what I've found,
Yeah.
and then expect everything to be right. It's like it's like COVID.
Like throwing a grenade into the thing, right? And
Kaboom.
kaboom.
Yeah, it's like COVID, right?
Right,
You'd say,
right.
hey, guess what I found out about
Right.
the safety of the vaccines, and they're not so safe.
Yep.
It's like, hey, where'd my family go? Where'd all my
Yeah,
friends
yeah,
go?
yeah,
I was just asking.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Bonnie said they're safe.
Hmm?
Bonnie said they're safe. They're safe and effective.
Yeah, no kidding.
Repeat it over and over. Repeat it over and over, right?
Yeah,
So the repetition's the key part. How they do that technique.
yeah,
To
yeah,
keep it the control. Repeat.
yeah. Yeah, and actually, we're supposed to that type of manipulation was supposed to be a warning. It was supposed to send our radar just beeping. Oh, I can tell what's going on here, and but instead, a lot of people just fell for it.
Mhm.
Like for me, it was like, whoa, I can see this like 100% now. Thank you for giving me the warning.
Mhm.
And so anyway, but the thing is, I would say that a lot of my understanding of this COVID thing and why I ejected myself from the whole thing so quickly within, like, I would say 3 days. I was like, oh, I get it. I'm out. It's because I understood pathological narcissism in a conscious manner, you see. It wasn't in my instincts anymore. It was like, oh, I can see that they're doing this. They're doing carrot and stick, right? They're doing shaming. Okay. They're lying. Okay, there's another sign. So, there's a whole checklist of pathological narcissism
The big one is fear.
and fear,
Fear.
right?
Just without fear, with fear, you're easy to control because your mind goes back into the reptile mode
Yep.
and keep me safe.
Mhm.
Then they come and say safe and effective. Oh, they're safe and effective. That satisfies my reptile brain on how to be safe and effective. The situation was very fearful.
Right. Right. And of course, they're appealing to low emotional maturity, where people go, "I feel fear, so it must be real."
Yeah. Help me.
Okay. There's no questioning it. It's just real. Here I go.
Yeah.
Off to the races. Yeah. So
That was the key for me when I questioned my fear. The first few days we were sent home from work on like March 17th, whatever.
Yep.
I go, what the hell's happening here?
Mhm.
And then with the shadow work, another person, we talked about the fear aspect.
Mhm.
I dived into the fear. I was like, oh, is my fear credible? And that
Mhm.
point, really, my fear was that credible? Okay. I'm done. I'm out. That was my
Okay.
exit point.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you see, it's
So I felt the fear, but I had to question it a bit. I had to sit with it for a bit.
damn
But once I questioned it, then okay, this is not valid. This is bullshit. I'm out.
amazing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
this goes to show that the major breakthroughs that can happen once you understand pathological narcissism, because once you understand that pathological narcissism, the definition of it basically is that the person is emotionally a 3-year-old in an adult's body. And why would you take any direction from someone that disordered? And the other part of the definition is that the person could never actually move forward past the 3-year-old level. They're stuck at that level forever. So, again, why would that be credible? So, all you got to do is look for the signs of narcissism. And if you see shaming, that's another one.
Right.
Real, like a real adult never uses shaming. A real adult never uses carrot and stick to make you go that way. A real adult will never use. Did I say fear already? A real adult will not hide things. Everything's out in the open, right?
Transparent.
Transparent. A real adult will strive to convince you instead of force you, right? So really, the only person that you should ever influence you, or you should ever pay attention to, or take directions from, is a real adult.
Yourself, hopefully.
Yeah, yeah.
Hopefully, it's just, yeah.
Well, apart from yourself, I mean,
Right,
externally,
right,
someone's
yeah.
giving you instructions, go here, go there.
Right, right.
Then you should only take that from a real adult. But failing that, it should never be from a pathological narcissist. Never pay attention to anything they say, ever.
This comes back to you're saying zero credibility. So first, figure out, is this person credible? Credible adult. I mean, I guess it comes together, right?
Mhm.
The two.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have seen somebody, I don't know if he was a pathological narcissist, but he was behaving in a narcissistic way. But he had certain skills in engineering. So I would not have questioned him on some of this engineering stuff,
Yeah.
on his speciality.
Right.
But where I did question him was where he was pretending to know something about a part of engineering, which I find every engineering office doesn't know, but they all pretend.
Oh, okay.
So I had to shut him down with what they call extreme prejudice. And I basically rolled up a newspaper and showed him I would swing it at him if he dared. Because he was a senior engineer, and he pretending made all the other engineers pretend, and then to my horror, even the what do you call it, the interns, the guys that are in engineering but between years, they're working there and they don't know what's going on, and then it's influencing them to pretend.
Well, they all go along, get along. Basically, right?
That's right.
Because they're not real adults, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Excuse me, what does this mean?
Yeah.
You know, or,
But then immediately, if he did that,
Yeah.
he would show that he doesn't know anything, so you don't dare say anything. So this goes back to Plato's allegory of the cave. Everyone's just facing the wall, and somebody's casting shadows, and you dare not look around you, right? But in my case, I came in, and I went right for the root cause. I knocked the fires over, and I told the people to quit what you're doing, and I extinguished the fires, so there were no more shadows. You see? So metaphorically, that's what I actually did. I went and got a grip of the senior engineer, saying, "We're not doing this anymore." And then by the time I left, I told him, "This is how we're going to do this stuff." And but having said that, if I thought there was something wrong with his design, I would just in case check, is this right? And he would say, yes, that's right. And I would leave it alone. It's like, that's his specialty. I was just making sure that it seemed a bit odd to me, but if he says it's fine, it's fine. But in this other area, it was like teeth around the throat. This will not continue while I'm around. And so anyway, by the end of it, they had all taken 2 or 3 courses each, these engineers of this GD&T specialty. And by the time I left, and they were like, we know it. By the time I left, they had actually hired a contractor to come in and teach them, right? So who benefits? The company benefits.
Yeah. Well, all the people too, because now they have that real knowledge, real skill.
Yeah. And then
the modeling of what happened as well.
Right.
I mean, so that's the key point. It's more, what the hell happened here? What was that dynamic? Why was this the whole guy pretending and going on, and no one speaking up, no one saying anything, etc. Right? And I felt maybe they felt something was wrong, but they didn't dare speak up, so they may question themselves as well at that point.
Yeah. It was a good modeling experience, right? And actually, the manager who hired me, based on me saying I am conversant in this particular skill, and he said, "Good, because they're all doing it and they're really good at it. So if you can just add on to them." And I said, "Oh, sure, I'll be willing to learn extra. That'd be great." And when I came in there, the guy was telling me, he was like, the senior engineer was telling me, "Oh yeah, we're a 3 out of 4. Sometimes we dip our toes in 4, but we're really solid." And I looked at the drawings that they were doing, and it looked like kindergarten glitter. The symbols that they were using, it was unbelievable. Like, it was crazy. And then later on, when I had a complete grip of them and I was forcing them to not pretend anymore, that senior engineer admitted to me, he said, "Yeah, well, I wasn't too worried about doing it right. I just putting it on there so that the manufacturers would pay more attention to the drawing." So he couldn't even admit, right? Yeah. He admitted, so I got him to admit that he was behaving incorrectly, but he couldn't. He doubled down on that, right? Yeah. Unbelievable. So that's a story of a quick run through of how to recognize what is the definition of a narcissist, how to recognize them, and how important it is to understand pathological narcissism so you can see them, and then you can actually undo their influence for everybody's good. Like I had a story before where me and some other parents ran a bunch of poisonous narcissists out of a swim club that were destroying the place, right? So while most of the parents just were hugging their children and like just looking after themselves.
Keep your head down.
Yeah, maybe they won't target me.
Yep.
They're going after that parent's children.
Right.
Maybe they won't, if I keep my head down, maybe they won't go after mine. Jesus. That's when I really felt like the only adult in the room. Let me tell you, that experience, holy Moses!
Which is very weak, right? Because you're letting those people be sacrificed. You could say, they're fed to the wolves, and we'll try and protect ourselves until somebody else is fed to the wolves.
Yeah,
right. But they won't speak up or won't go and help them rescue or do anything, right?
Yeah, and actually, they're putting their children in danger.
Well, it's just a question of when are they next.
Exactly.
Right. If they do something wrong or say something wrong, and okay, now I'm the target. Right?
Yeah. So we get into emotional maturity now because I'm going to do this because it makes me feel safe.
Yep.
When in fact you are in total danger because you just bent your knee to them. Yeah. And now they look at you like there's an easy target.
Yeah.
You've just sacrificed you've put your children on the altar of sacrifice. But then me going after those narcissists, at the beginning it was kind of fearsome. Like I was like, ooh, what am I up to here? But actually I decided that fear, that little gasp of fear I had at the beginning was like not credible. So I ignored it. The fear didn't necessarily go away at the beginning, but I had already decided mentally to not pay attention to it because it didn't make sense to the real world. These people are 3-year-olds in adults' bodies.
Right.
And if I had a flash of fear, I go, okay, that's just some internal mechanism trying to protect me and giving me a fear, but there's actually nothing to be afraid of, really.
So there you had your perspective correct, in a sense. To get back to my perspective, they're 3-year-olds.
Yeah, right.
And I'm the adult. So
yeah, that's right.
Therefore, my fear is not credible.
Right. And some people say, boy, where did you get the bravery to do that? And I'm saying, yeah, there's 2 things. You can have go way higher on your bravery to be able to perform,
Mm-hmm.
or you can change your perspective to match the real world,
Yeah.
and then you don't need as much bravery.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, like somebody's throwing a shadow on a big screen,
Mm-hmm.
but if you look behind the screen, it's this little midget.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go after the Cyclops with
Mm-hmm.
with torches and pitchforks, or just take the time to think,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so no, I don't need to increase my bravery.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy! But I tell you, it just like the philosopher going back into the cave and trying to wake people up. It was kind of shocking. I was more emotionally shocked by the behavior of the average person than I was by the narcissist. The narcissists, they kind of have an excuse in a way,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but the average person who knows better, ugh,
And you think also that the average adult or parent would protect their children.
yeah, right,
Typically that's the instinct, you'd say,
Mhm.
and the normal behavior.
yeah,
I should protect my children. The children are in danger. Something going
Yeah.
on. You would say right in front of the bus. You'd try to run out the street and save them.
hmm
Sacrifice yourself, typically,
Yep.
without thinking about it. In that situation.
Yep.
But many situations they don't. Right? It's just
Mhm. yeah. So all of the parents are basically these people in Plato's cave, looking at the wall
Mhm, mhm,
and not being able to turn around and see what's going on behind them,
Mhm.
and not willing to. And in fact, some of them, from my example,
no, don't show me, no.
some of them from my example of going after the narcissist, it was similar to me rolling a boulder over in the lawn and a bunch of snakes come flying out,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
And everyone just up and screams and runs.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you're never supposed to turn that boulder over,
yeah.
and now look what you've done.
Mhm.
So in other words, it's not like, oh, thank you, Mark, for showing us the poison.
Yeah.
Like, these things are nipping at our heels whenever we go by that boulder.
Yeah.
And you went and you just rolled the whole boulder over,
Yeah.
and now we're screaming for our lives. Mark, you're a bad man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Never mind the snakes that
Yeah,
are
exactly.
right there.
The root cause, back to the snake, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
okay.
right. And just like in Plato's cave, even Plato himself described it, where he's ignoring the people creating the shadows.
Yeah.
And when he comes back in, he walks right by them
Yeah.
and doesn't address them.
Mhm,
And yet he's trying to wake people up, but the root cause is still going on.
mhm, mhm. Like you said last week, if you go to the root cause, say you turned off the fire,
hmm
then what would happen?
Yeah, you turn off the fire. So then when you go to wake people up, there's only you now.
Well, you don't even have to, because the fire goes out. They'll go, well, there's no more shadow here after a bit. They'll start to sort of like, oh, there's no more shadow. Maybe I should turn around or look around, right? I mean,
Yeah,
where'd the shadow go? Oh, what's over there now?
right.
Thing, right? I mean,
Yeah, the root
so
cause.
they would sort of, it would happen by itself to the people, I think, just given the process and the time,
hmm
if you attack the root cause, right? I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. So now, when it comes to narcissism, so we've talked about the what is the definition of a narcissist? It's very simple. Now, the only thing is that I have a tendency to say a pathological narcissist who's someone stuck at the emotional development level of a 3-year-old. But I think it's more profound than that. I think that emotional development has a precursor, and that is inner significance. But I don't usually use the word inner significance, even though in my mind I think it's more accurate. I don't use that because people haven't heard the term inner significance very much, but everyone's heard of emotional maturity. So, I can still use that for clarity's sake. But if I were to be really accurate, I would say that pathological narcissism is an error in inner significance, or it is a broken part of inner significance, or it is inner significance frozen to a halt. It is a inner significance problem. So children, when they're born, they need to be significant because they need to feel like they're significant because they're so helpless, that they need to see in their tribe, their parents, their tribe, that they are significant. They're held, they're cuddled, they're fed, they're looked after, and then they go, okay, I think I'm going to make it. They're showing signs of being addicted to me. So then the reptilian brain is mollified. And when the reptilian brain is mollified and they can relax, it's that relaxation that allows inner significance to take off. In other words, they can generate significance from inside themselves without relying on external. So, and that's just, you don't need to teach anyone that. That just happens. All it needs to happen is that you need to be relaxed enough for it to do its thing. That's, and as a parent, that's all you got to do. Just be a huggy parent. Just pay attention to them. Make your mistakes, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
But just be a huggy parent and just appeal to that reptilian part of their mind. And you don't have to teach them how to be inner significant. It's just going to do its thing.
Or stuff when they say your 3-year-old comes along and says, Daddy, look at my picture. You actually stop and look at the picture.
Right.
And say to them, oh, it's a good picture. I like it. You did a good job.
Yep.
Versus, okay, no, I'll see you later.
Right.
Don't bother me kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
You take that moment, you be with them for that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, like they were seen, heard, validated.
Yep.
Oh, good. They saw me, they heard me, validated me.
Mm-hmm.
I feel good. I do my thing again.
Mm-hmm.
Do your thing again.
Yeah. And I think there's another saying, never refuse a gift from a child.
Right.
You ever heard that one?
No, but that's good, yeah.
Yeah, right? In other words,
Like, oh, I found this little rock for you.
Yeah,
I'll
right.
give you this rock.
Yeah.
You think, well, I don't want a rock. What do I want this rock for? Right. But
give me something I want.
right. right.
Oh, I made this. Yeah, I made this picture for you.
Right.
Oh, Uncle.
Yeah.
Uncle, I made this picture for you.
Yeah.
I remember I was actually, I was in Westlock in the pool, and swimming around, and they had the diving board open, and this mother comes up, sir. I go, what? Sir, she's trying to get your attention. I look up and there's this little girl on the board going, watch me.
Yeah. Exactly, right? I mean, watch me, see me.
Yeah.
So that I'm significant.
Yeah.
Right?
I didn't know the kid.
No, but I mean, that's the same principle, right? I mean,
Yeah.
See me.
Uh-huh.
Watch me, see me, right?
And I'm trying to remember where that came from. And I think I was in there with my cousin's niece, I think. And I was watching her dive or something, or I was helping her swim or something. I was paying attention to her.
Right.
So this other totally strange, I think, Métis girl or whatever, she was on the board and go, watch me.
But she saw you doing that to your daughter, or whatever.
Yeah. Second cousin or whatever.
So she saw it modeled.
Yeah.
I want that.
Yeah.
I want that too.
Yeah.
Well, I can get that from this guy.
Right.
I'm not getting it from my mother, my father. Maybe they're busy doing their thing, they're ignoring me.
Yeah.
Oh, I can get it from this person.
Yeah.
But she could be like, why is a grandparent so often so attractive for a child? Because the grandparent gives the child that kind of attention, that kind of validation. I see you, I hear you, get the huggy type of thing, right? I mean,
yeah. So a grandparent is past the stage of needing attention.
right.
A grandparent has so much inner significance that they don't need to get it.
Right.
They're willing. They're happy to give it. Meanwhile, the little grandchild is like a vacuum
Yeah.
for external significance. So that's why they're a match made in heaven. Meanwhile, the parent is still halfway between those two, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was happy to give this kid, oh, look at you. You dove off. I didn't know the kid, but whatever.
Yeah.
And I gave the kid what she needed, what she wanted, what I know that is healthy for her, that type of thing. So, yeah, interesting.
Yeah, this is probably just a few moments, and then it's done, and then she goes in her way, you go in her way, type of thing, right? It's
Yeah. Of course, if I were a narcissist,
you would have to
look at me.
Stick into it, right? I mean, that'd be continual.
Yeah.
Mark, look at me. Mark, look at me again. Look at Mark. I'm over here. Look at me.
Yeah. How does that serve my needs?
Look, Mark, I'm doing this. Right?
Yeah.
And that's why they do anything to get attention as well. Like they might do bad things because you're not getting attention for good stuff. Okay, I'll break this cup.
Yeah.
Then I'll get attention.
Yeah.
Right.
Even if it's bad attention.
Bad attention, but I still get attention.
Right. And you'd go, why is that kid misbehaving? But the thing is, it's needed.
Yeah.
It's they know it's absolutely incredibly necessary for their development, for the inner significance to take off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're trying to, I couldn't get it by A, B, or C. I'll use D now.
Yeah. And it's legitimate.
Yeah.
Like, you get on the phone and suddenly your kids are screaming blue murder.
Yeah. Oh, you're not paying attention to me.
Yeah. Suddenly they're fighting.
Yeah.
For no reason.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to get on the phone. I got to go back to the.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that's another example of understanding pathological narcissism, but using it for a beneficial purpose. Now, when it comes to parenting, we want to avoid pathological narcissism or any type of narcissism, really.
Mhm.
But here's the thing: is that a lot of parents or people say, "I could never be a parent because I would never want to do to my children what was done to me," right? But the thing is, if you understand narcissism and the root of it, you don't have to be the perfect parent. If you just cuddle your kid, sit them on your knee, you can be a bit of a buggerhead yourself, but it doesn't really matter
Mhm.
because that child just wants that external significance. Just they're holding me, they're looking at me.
I'm safe.
Yeah, I'm saying
Cared
I'm not going to
for.
be left behind in a ditch,
Yep. Yep.
right? And so you don't have to be perfect. Just give them that,
Mhm.
and they will just take off. Like, I mean, you can see tiny little kids already starting to develop inner significance, right? No,
Yeah. Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
other words,
Yeah.
I'm starting to just dip my toe.
Define myself.
Yeah,
Make my boundary. Define myself.
yeah, boundaries.
Yeah. Boundary. Yeah.
Define
Yeah.
a boundary.
Yeah.
Or I do. No,
Yes.
I do.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Parents just wanting to help.
Yeah.
No, I do.
Yeah.
So that's individualism coming out, like in the real world,
Mhm.
and so it's just coming out, So anyway, that's kind of my message about that. So yeah, so I have a lot of stories about pathological narcissism. It'd be interesting for people to put that in the comments of the video. What have you experienced? But again, I think that is just one of the major breakthroughs in history. The whole concept of pathological narcissism, the explanation of it, and it's starting to be used in everyday language. Um, so I had some other examples of pathological narcissism. Oh so I was involved in a meetup with a bunch of people, and the one person there was going to address the whole crowd. And the guy who hosted it, I've already pegged him as a narcissist from a long time ago, from years ago. It took me about an hour, and my radar was going off. And then later interactions with him, it was like, oh yeah, he is, So I always had my eye out for him. But anyway, he's hosting this thing, and the person that's going to speak to everybody came up, and anyway, so the host brought up a microphone, got it set up, and was addressing everybody, introducing things, and he's the center of attention. And then he just didn't want to let the microphone go. So he just started like talking random things and extending it out. And meanwhile, the guy that's wanting to speak finally got up and stood beside him to take the microphone. He wasn't going to give up the microphone. He kept going. And I look around the room and I can see people just kind of like, oh God, like just, yeah, like they can tell their body language, they're uncomfortable,
Uh-huh.
but nobody says anything.
Mhm.
And
They want to be polite.
they want to be polite.
Gotta be nice, right?
Yeah. And then, so what I did is I kind of shifted my head like this suddenly, and I caught his eye, and I went, Rick, and he just dropped. He just gave the mic and left. And and the and the thing is that one of the guys that was there, he was back at his group, and he told them what I had done. So usually I don't think anybody notices when I do stuff like that. But he actually said, yeah, Mark just ripped him one. And so this is what I mean by dominating a narcissist. A narcissist will undo anything you're trying to accomplish. It's like setting a little toddler in front of a stack of wooden blocks. What do you think is going to happen, right? They're going to knock it over, right? And that is their joy. Yeah. Right? So you got to understand, part of your knowledge about narcissism is that they're just going to do that. Like if you're a little kid and your psyche is like building like a tower of blocks as you're building it, the narcissistic parent will just knock it over. They can't build, they can only destroy. And so that's why they do what they do. It's just a gleeful thing for a child to manipulate and and manipulate its environment. And so there's no stopping them.
Mhm.
So anyway, there was no stopping this guy. So I just said, Rick, and he knew exactly what I was talking about.
Mhm.
And he immediately dropped it and ran. Because what had happened, there was an adult in the
An
room.
adult, exactly. Yeah,
An adult
yeah,
came
yeah.
into the room, and the narcissist will run from that because a real adult can see right through them.
Mhm.
And that is the worst nightmarish result for a narcissist, that someone can see right through me.
Their facade has been taken off.
That's right.
You know.
Right.
Mhm.
Everyone else is buying into this pretense of being an adult,
Mhm.
but they know it's a pretense.
Mhm.
And a lot of people see through it, but they want to just keep pretending because they don't want to. Because if they don't pretend, then suddenly they'll be the only adult in the room.
Mhm.
And this is the most horrific outcome for the average person,
Mhm.
the average low maturity person, is to actually admit when they might be the only adult in the room.
Mhm.
So that was such a perfect thing.
Mhm.
Like I had no problem saying, okay, I guess I'm the only one. I guess I'm the only adult in the room. Nobody's gonna take it up. I'll do it fine.
Mhm.
You know.
Mhm.
And so yeah, I've had experiences like that before. Like I've had it when I was a little kid in a restaurant with my family, and this is not something I quite remember. But in a booth in a restaurant, and I'm only like a 5 or 6 year old, and my mom still talks about to this day. A guy next in the next booth lit up a cigarette,
Mhm.
and I stood up and I said, "Put that out. Don't smoke around me when I'm eating."
Uh-huh.
Something like that.
Right.
But I basically gave him a tongue lashing, and the guy, my mom says she doesn't remember. Did he put it out or did he get up and move? I suspect he got up and moved. So it's an example of where, like, okay, my parents should be protecting me.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
That guy, there's a little kid right next to me. I should be protecting him.
Yes.
So in my mind, as a 6 year old, I was going, okay, I guess I'm the only adult in the room
Right.
right now.
Right.
I guess it's up to me.
Mhm.
I guess I'll just take on the role of the adult.
Mhm.
And guess what? My mother and my father were like, holy shit. Like they were like, oh my God,
Yep.
I can't
Yep.
believe my kid is doing that. What's gonna happen?
Yep.
You know, and the guy so the guy knew he was being childish,
Mhm.
and I called him out and he left.
Mhm.
Right? So this is and I have other examples like that from
That's a good
just being
example
a
of because people often say they're afraid to talk to the narcissist or confront them type of thing.
yeah,
It's scary.
yeah,
But then you've shown in a couple examples here where it may appear scary, but the person realizes they're in the wrong, their facade's been blown.
yeah.
I'm out of here.
Right,
Right? So there is no fight in a sense.
right, right.
Sometimes there is for a while. Like you said, the swim club, there was examples, some going back and forth for a period of time.
Yeah, yeah.
But many cases, it's just the one, hey, this is the adult, the other one's out.
Yeah. Just like that senior engineer.
Yeah, exactly.
Like he caved to me immediately.
Exactly, yeah.
Because
Yeah,
he knew
yeah.
that this guy sees right through me,
Mhm.
and I can't afford any more of that transparency to be taking place.
Mhm.
I am going to bow to him
Mhm.
so that it stops. And then I was kind to him. I
Mhm.
wasn't like roasting him.
Yeah, you don't have to. I mean, what would you achieve by that, right? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also the manager of that engineering firm,
Mhm.
I was telling him about this, and he said, "Yeah." He said, "I took that GD&T training also, and I don't recall." You know, he made a technical reference to something that was going on, saying, "I don't think that's the way it's supposed to be done." But here's a manager; he's responsible for the success of the business, and he is not going to stand up and tell the senior engineer what for, or even
Right.
open it. Just let him do his thing. Don't ruffle any feathers. And here's me, a temporary contractor, junior. Like I'm older than them, but I was
Mhm.
in a
Mhm.
junior position, and I come in there and I just roast them. There's another example of my son where he was like he's 22, he was 22 or something like that, and he's 6'4", 200 pounds, and he goes into a bar, and this guy who's even bigger than him and taller than him brushes up against him and says, "Hey, you want to go outside and fight?" type of thing. I do self defense with my son. I'm always pulling him aside to practice some self defense. And but he gave that guy a tongue lashing from hell. Oh, it was horrific. He just basically, I mean, I got a little bit of what he was saying, but basically what he was saying is this a kindergarten I've walked into? He said, grow up. And he said something like, are you an adult or are you a child? Like this type of thing. And that guy just slunk. He just turned into like a 2-foot midget and slunk off into the crowd. That hurt more than if he punched him right in the teeth. It was worse. So the funny part is,
Well,
that
it's like you said other times, it's a hit to his external significance.
yeah,
Like you take that hit, you can grow.
yeah, yeah,
Right? You mentioned that before, type of thing, right? Take the hit.
yeah.
It may
Take
be
the hit
pain
to your
to it,
yeah.
but then you're going to grow through that.
Right.
So then what happened after that?
Yeah. So what happened is that the guy slunk off into the crowd, and eventually some of the guy's friends came to my son and apologized for his behavior. So they were all cowed by the only adult in the room. You see, and then eventually the guy himself, the bully himself, came up to my son and apologized in person for his and gave some lame excuses to why he was behaving like
So
that.
you
Right?
took the hit to his significance at that point.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
second hit, you could say.
yeah, yeah,
The
yeah,
first of the tongue lashing.
yeah,
The second to come back to your son and talk to him, right?
yeah,
And say, "Oh, I was wrong."
yeah, yeah.
Right.
But what they liked is that, oh, there's an actual adult in the room. So they wanted to be around him. That's why they came around him. They wanted to interact with a real adult because it's rare. But actually, what I did tell my son was, first off, what you did was way better than any of the self-defense stuff I ever taught you. Right? That was, and in fact, it was even more cruel. Not really. It's a good thing, but I'm just saying.
Well, still
what a hit.
self-defense. Still self-defense, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like when I did martial arts as well,
Yeah.
our teachers and masters would say, well, it's also the art of how not to fight, right? How to be strong, how to be your significance, or be the adult. You don't have to fight. I'm strong. I know what I can do. I don't have to fight.
Right.
You have that air, that's inner strength per se, right?
Yeah.
But also sometimes it's better to walk away. Like, okay, do I need to fight right now? Is that situation worth fighting?
Yeah.
Or could I fight a different way? So he fought a different way.
Yeah.
Right.
And the funny part is, what he did is exactly how I would have done it.
Oh, okay.
But I never taught him that.
Right.
I never said, okay, here's all the martial arts stuff, but first thing you do is do this. I never said that to him.
Right.
So he emulated, well, he must have been, because I know that that's exactly how I would have done it. And it would have been fierce tongue lashing that you'd never come back from. And so he just did that. Somehow he just picked it up by osmosis, But the other thing about that is that, when the way to think about it is that, again, it's this perspective thing. Do I need to be more brave or do I need to have a new perspective? And the perspective that came out of that is people are desperate for an adult to show up. And they will bend their knee to you. And they will want to be like you. And they will want to be around you, So that's what I'm saying. If you're the only adult in the room, you'd be surprised how the vast majority are waiting for someone like you to show up. And they will not turn on you. In fact, they'll admire you and look up to you. The story that I had in Jamaica where I stood up to them all like the only white kid in Jamaica, one of 3 white kids in the whole school, and they were trying to bully me. The whole class was trying to bully me, including the PE teacher himself was bullying me because I'm white. And I stood up to them, but afterwards, not only did I not have, afterwards, I had no problem like that ever again in any arena. And in fact, I could tell they kind of looked up to me. Right?
Yeah, gain respect, right?
Yeah. Everyone's like, they're looking at me and they're going, oh my God, if that was me, I would fold.
Oh, yeah.
Like somebody said that about Trump. He said, I didn't know anything about Trump, and I actually had a bad concept about him, from what I've been hearing. And he's just a showman, and he's a braggart and a buffoon and all that. And he said that he met him and he liked him.
Oh.
But he said that basically he doesn't understand how Trump stands up to these attacks, like calling him orange and making fun of his kids and his wife and everything. He said, if it was me, it wouldn't take long before I'd be in a fetal position on the ground. He said, literally, I could not handle much of that.
Mhm.
I don't know how he just stands there and takes it, and it doesn't penetrate anything, right?
Mhm.
Well, this is the thing about perspective. If you, he has a perspective problem because he sees them as adults, misbehaving adults.
Mhm.
The real perspective is these are children.
Yes.
These are toddlers in adults' bodies,
Yes.
and they're not to be taken seriously at all.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah.
When's the last time a 3-year-old told you you're a poo-poo head, and then you went into a month-long depression?
Mhm.
It just doesn't make any sense.
Mhm.
So if a narcissist tells you you're a poo-poo head,
Mhm.
and you go into a 3-month depression, well, then you have a perspective problem.
And also, you're making that other person credible, right? Well, that's part of the perspective, right?
Yeah.
This
yeah.
person's credible. You're taking their perspective
Yeah.
and take it on.
But I think a lot of us have a problem with perspective because it's the
Mhm.
truth.
Mhm.
The-
Or they're an authority.
What's that?
They're an authority. The so-called
They're
authority,
an authority.
right?
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
right. Yeah, yeah.
they're higher than me. They're better than
Mhm.
me, right? They're the king, the queen, right? And
But what if the authority is a 3-year-old?
right,
Then that
right.
just destroys your whole worldview, right?
That too,
And
yeah.
So people would rather pretend
Mhm.
that things are okay than have anything shake their worldview. This
Mhm.
is a major problem.
Oh, big time. Big
Worldview.
time.
So people will like be way less survivable
Mhm.
just to protect their inner emotional core.
Mhm.
You know, like if you've had a narcissistic parent or parents, and that just devastated your world, and they can't be relied upon, and then the government says, "But you can rely on us.
Mhm.
We will look after you. We care about you, and we've got your best interests in mind."
Mhm.
Well, then that is a nice substitute. But then what happens if it turns out the government actually doesn't give a damn about you at all?
Mhm.
Well, then how do you let that go and then have nothing?
Well, often turn to the next thing, which could then be religion or something else,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
the next replacement parent, you could say, right?
yeah, yeah. In what I call the replacement parent industry,
Well, yeah.
you know,
Or influencer. Oh, there's some influencer. I'll follow them now.
yeah,
They're my leader, you could say, right?
yeah,
Or some guru.
yeah, right, right, right. And yeah, that brings up another thing about pathological narcissism is the concept of worship.
Yeah.
So I was talking to a guy, and I
It's
was
also speak of blind worship, right?
blind
Yeah,
worship,
yeah.
right? So I was talking to a guy who, and I said I'm an atheist, and he said, "Oh, okay, well," he just kind of went, "Oh," but he's saying how he is spiritual though. He's he's not an atheist because he believes that there's a power, and he started describing to me. He says he's not religious, but he believes in like there's like he's questioning me like, why would you be an atheist? Like, where do you think consciousness comes from? And he's giving me all these questions, right?
Mhm.
And but what I told him was nothing that what you're talking about. I'm not hearing any signs of worship though. Like you're talking about just these concepts,
Right.
but so I'm not alarmed by what you're saying
Mhm.
because I'm not hearing some of these pathological narcissist signs.
Mhm.
Like you're not talking about worshiping anything. Like maybe you're talking about a creator, but it's just like maybe you're thinking nature is the creation or some. But what I'm saying is the minute I hear worship,
Mhm.
my alarm bells are going off. This
Yeah.
is infantile.
Well, or it's what we hear often. It's like, this is the book, this is the word,
Yeah,
and that's it.
yeah,
And thou shalt not contradict the word.
right,
Because
right.
this is the word that God wrote down.
Yeah.
That's it, man.
Yeah,
Right?
that's it.
You
Yeah.
know?
No questioning.
Exactly.
Thank you. Blink.
Yep.
Get to turn my
And
brain
then
off.
please worship me now.
Yeah, worship. Right. That's the key.
Yeah.
The key. Worship.
Yeah.
So like in philosophy, you are going to well, like let's say in religion, like Cam was saying, you're just gonna be given a truth,
Mhm.
put in a coin, take your truth,
Yep.
and
Yep.
go.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. Yep.
And then pay attention to that, and things will be working out fine,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
In philosophy, there's not supposed to be truth. People kind of take it that way, like you go to the guru and they tell you the truth,
Mhm.
but really, philosophy is really trying to give you the skills where you can find your own truth.
Yeah. So the critical thinking.
Yeah, right. Use your own critical thinking, develop it. But of course, if you do critical thinking, you can be hamstrung by low emotional maturity.
Right.
So you got to work on that.
Right.
And if you have low emotional maturity, it could be you're limited by your inner significance. So you got to work on that.
Mhm.
Right. And so, yeah, it's really more like a skill set. So what I'm saying is learn about pathological narcissism and then use that to find narcissists anywhere,
Right, right. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So like for example, carrot and stick, right? The minute you see nobody normal uses carrot and stick. So for example, I'll give you an example is that I I decided to get into self-employment in the mechanical engineering industry. So some of the people I knew had heard about this, and then next thing you know, a guy, an engineer, asked me for a coffee meeting, and he proposed he and I work together.
Oh, okay.
Like he's been working for all sorts of companies, and he's just sick and tired of the people he works for, and he's really, had it with his whole salary business. He wants to go bigger. But anyway, he proposed that he and I work together. He said that he's an expert guy in using the SolidWorks software for engineering. And in fact, he works at a company that sells SolidWorks, and he's a technical guru there, right? So he definitely knows his stuff. And he said we could put our forces together and work together. So he said, if you don't want to, that's fine, because I'll just work on my own, and I will outcompete you like crazy, and you'll be left in my dust. So I just kind of walked away from that meeting because I could just see carrot and stick. You work with me, everything's going to be fantastic. If you don't, I'll bury you.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it was like, the thing is, it was so transparent.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like, dude, can't you see that I see right through that? You don't, like, really? But anyway, later on, talking to him, he was admitting that his whole family has a history of psychopathy. And that he actually had his whole family tested for psychopathy. And his wife is a psychopath. But his daughter scores off the charts out of everyone. Right?
Well, because they trained her, you say, right? They
Well,
trained her to be like them.
maybe,
Not,
but
not directly or
Yeah.
consciously, per se,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's like the pathological narcissist will raise narcissists
yeah.
to be like them.
Well, some of the science that's
Typically.
been coming down is that psychopathy is inherited.
Well, you could say it's inherited by a gene or by behavior and
Right.
habits. And
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
right,
yeah.
right. So there's the gene aspect. There's what you call my teachers called it a meme.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a gene that's passed down, but it's not a gene. It's just the pattern, the behavior, the modeling
Yeah.
passed down generation to generation. Like if your parents are alcoholics, your children are alcoholics, their children
Yeah.
are alcoholics,
Yeah.
because that's the normal behavior within
Yeah.
this family last 5 generations.
Mm.
And this just becomes what's passed down, right?
Yeah. So that's an interesting thing. Just if we're going to get onto psychopathy, there was a guy, and you can find him on the internet, and he is a brain researcher and a scientist, and he was studying psychopathy. And what he was doing is he was taking absolute psychopaths out of prison, scanning their brain, a certain region of the brain, and seeing the differences, right? And so, but he needed a control study, so he did his whole family, including himself, in a different pile. And then he was going through his family pile, and he goes, "Oh my God, one of the most psychopathic, the most extreme psychopath reading I've ever seen is in this X-ray or this reading. It should be in the other pile." But he went to look at the name, and it was his own name.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, it was his own name, and he was like, "What?"
Yeah.
But then he forgot about it.
Right.
Just put it to the side, right?
Right.
But later on, it turned out that that they knew, his family knew he was different, but they made allowances for him.
Right.
And I don't even know if they knew the word psychopath, but they knew he was different.
They weren't going to be adults.
What's that?
They weren't going to be adults and call it out.
Yeah,
Either,
right.
right? You know,
Yeah,
we'll allow it to go on.
yeah. So anyway, they I'm just saying he grew up in a very healthy household,
Right. Uh-huh.
which emotionally healthy household, in which they didn't blame him for his behavior. They just made allowances for it. So he grew up to be what's called a pro-social psychopath.
Which is
Pro-social. So in other words, he doesn't actually openly victimize people. He's pro-social, but he has very low empathy for other people, right? But in a way, even though he has low empathy, even towards his own children and family, he still is pro-social. So a good example of what he said is that there was a bully beating up everybody for their lunch money in school,
Mhm.
and he went up and broke the kid's arm,
Oh, okay. Uh-huh.
and that solved the problem.
Right.
Now, right? So the thing is that in his mind, if you want to solve the problem,
Right.
you got to go all the way.
Root
So he
cause.
broke his arm,
Right.
and he really learned his lesson.
Right.
Now, the
Right.
thing is that he is right,
Yeah.
but most average people are so empathetic that you couldn't stand breaking someone's arm because it would feel like you're breaking you just couldn't do it, right? It's just you would empathize with the person you're doing it to. Like, it's just gross. It's like not everyone could be a surgeon. You can't imagine cutting into someone, right?
Yeah.
But he didn't have empathy.
Right.
But you see, he was not victimizing the good people. He was
Right.
like solving a problem pro-socially.
Right. Okay.
But he talked about how he would go swimming with his family, but there was sharks in the water,
Mhm.
and he invited them in. Like, he just wasn't. He just
Oh, okay. Okay.
yeah, he wasn't really victimizing him, but the empathy
that part's not turned on, whatever, not
was
developed.
just not turned on.
Yeah.
And like he said, his reading,
Mhm.
because they actually know where in the brain
Oh, okay.
to find psychopathy.
Mhm.
And if you've ever heard of Lizzie Borden, Lizzie Borden took an axe, gave her father 40 whacks. When she saw what she had done, gave her mother 41. That's actually backwards. Gave her mother 40 whacks when she saw what she had done, gave her father 41. Yeah, so she's a psychopath that murdered her whole family, right?
Mhm.
And this is back in the 1700s or something in New England or somewhere like that. And his mother helped him trace his family lineage back to Lizzie Borden.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right? So
Wow.
her point was it's inherited, and you can see
Oh,
all
okay,
through the
okay.
whole lineage
Mhm.
psychopathy
Mhm.
going through, right? So my point about him is that he's one of the worst, one of the most extreme psychopaths possible. Yet he's pro-social because of the way he was raised.
Right.
So what you're
Right.
saying is,
Right.
yes, you're right.
Right.
The way you're raised and you can pass it down.
Right.
But this is huge. Actually, it's interesting to see how
Mhm. Well, so it's
it doesn't have to go bad.
No, it's like you could say it's your environment shapes you,
Uh-huh.
right? So here's this potential of psychopathy passed down generation.
Yeah.
It could be manifested this way or manifested this way.
Mm-hmm.
Like given the environment he was raised and developed in,
That's right.
it manifested in the positive way. We could
That's
say,
right.
right?
Like on the military battlefield, he could have like the
Yeah,
Medal of Honor
Oh yeah.
because he
yeah.
doesn't have the fear, but
Yes,
he's
sir, what do I do?
pro-social.
What's the right way to go? Okay.
Yeah, but he's pro-social. Like
Right,
he
right,
wants to
right.
defend his
Right.
squad,
Yeah.
so he'll do heroic actions.
Mhm.
But he's not limited by fear like they are.
Yeah.
And actually, when someone charges towards you without fear,
Mhm.
people have a tendency to like throw their weapons down and run.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's a stronger frame. Stronger frame wins in a sense.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right.
And then another example like that is a Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
The Forrest Gump is seen as somebody who's simple, stupid
Yeah.
type of
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
but he didn't have fear. It's
Mhm.
like that pro-social guy didn't have fear.
Right.
Just go ahead and do things.
That's right.
And then because he didn't have fear, didn't worry about it, or didn't worry about how people saw him as well,
Mm-hmm.
he actually excelled at it.
Exactly.
You know.
So I guess we took that little detour. I guess we're talking about how innate it is versus your how innate it is versus
Nature
your
and
upbringing.
nurture.
Nature and nurture. Right. Oh yeah. So what I was leading on to is that this engineer guy that I was talking to, who was admitting psychopathy in his family, where he actually got it tested. His father was a union negotiator, so very socialistic, which is more toward the infantile side, the tribalistic groupthink side. And his father is turning out to have multiple families everywhere, so he has half siblings, which are popping out of the woodwork. So they don't know how many families this guy had going in different areas and maintaining different families.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
Totally secretly to each other. So this is psychopath behavior, right? So you can see that there's this lineage of stuff. And so yeah, one thing I noticed about him, he did not have so I told him, hey, in this business we're all gonna sell. And he's like, no, I can't sell. And I go, no, everyone can be taught to sell. He goes, absolutely not. I didn't know what he was talking about. I thought, I'll convince him. But afterwards I realized, there's no way he can sell. Because he described himself as being like on the autism spectrum, where he simply cannot read body language.
Right. Yeah.
So he would get onto a topic and he'd say something. He'd be saying something that's uncomfortable for the people, but he just wouldn't quit. He'd just
Right.
keep going and going. And even though they're like, "Please stop," he couldn't read that.
Yeah.
But he was self-aware that he could not do that. He was quite self-aware in many ways.
Right. Which is
Yeah. But he was still a victim of his
Right.
psychopathy or whatever he called it. And his
Well, but
autism.
if he's self-aware, then you could work with that and say, well, no, that's not going to work for me. If I try to be a salesman, that's not going to be not
Yeah,
result.
yeah,
right?
he
So-
knew that. Yeah,
Yeah.
and working with me, he was saying, I'm not going to be in the sales side, but I'll do the technical stuff. In fact, the first sales meeting should be with you. Then I'll come in afterwards and I'll just blow them away.
Mhm.
So he was very accurate about all that stuff, you know. But anyway,
So one question, just to bring it back to the cave.
yeah, right.
So the philosopher came back and he tried to shake the people.
Yep.
That didn't work, not effective. He got attacked.
Hmm.
But if he would have put out the fire or gone to the shadow people, it would have been a different result, kind of thing, right?
Yeah, he didn't in his allegory. None of that happens. Attacking the people doing it, and it's mysterious. Who are these people? But we see that to this day. The narcissists get away with whatever they want to. So we talk about the people that are like push COVID on us and push injections on us. And everyone goes, no, I don't want that. That's not fair. You're not allowed to bully me into losing my job. And they're against it. But nobody's really curious as to who these people are and what's their motivations. They go, oh yeah, they just want to do this to us. But why? Like, you would never do anything like that.
Well, that's part of the problem, though, because in your psyche, your morality, your ethics,
Yeah,
you could not imagine that.
yeah.
You would never do that. You never dreamed of that.
That's right.
So therefore, somebody else wouldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're limited by your own perspective in that regard.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If they could change your perspective, okay, that's not me, not how I behave, but how would a psychopath behave? How would a 3-year-old behave? Et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, and it's very hard to get your mind wrapped around that. So that's why Plato's philosopher just walks by those people
Right.
because it's so icky. Like, who the hell are those
Right,
people? It's
right,
just
right.
icky and nasty. And when he leaves the cave, he goes right by them again.
Right. Yeah.
Or when he
They
comes
got a
back
free-
in the
got a free
cave.
pass, right?
Yeah, they get a free pass because they're so icky. And in fact, in that swim club example, they went after my kids when they couldn't get to me.
Yeah.
When I was not reacting to them. I was not afraid of them. I wasn't even chest poking them. I was just unmovable. And I was just not taking any of their crap. They went after my kids. But of course, when you go after somebody's kids, you reveal yourself as being a horrific person. Like you're now getting into where your credibility is being strained.
Yeah.
That's right. But the thing is, what they were banking on is me.
Caving.
Like they don't mind that they're disgusting to you. Like they know that your level of disgust towards them can be so high that you can't face the disgust, and they don't mind, even though they're narcissists and they want to be liked. They will use your disgust for them as a weapon
Turn you away, right?
to turn you, as long as you leave.
Yeah, if you run and yeah.
That's
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
But of course, the failing part of that is that they reveal themselves to other people at the
Right.
same time.
Right.
But of course, a narcissist is a toddler, so they can't see that.
They're doubling down.
They're doubling down, but they can't see the consequences.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, which means is that I say that dominating narcissists is dead easy. Of course, once you understand them, everything becomes easy. But I'm just saying, if you're dealing with a 3-year-old in an adult's body, if you can't dominate them, actually, there's something wrong with you. Like there's something wrong with me, because how can a 3-year-old dominate me? That is unacceptable.
Right. Right.
So I'm not even worried about their behavior. Like when I dominate a narcissist, I'm not really worried about their behavior so much as I'm like, who am I? Am I the one that can be dominated by a 3-year-old? No, I don't think so.
Right.
Absolutely no way. So that's why I said Rick, because really, I'm the type of guy that can sit there and not say anything? I don't think so. I'm going to 3-year-old dominate the whole room? No, I don't think so. These people in the swim club, they're going to bully a family and I'm going to sit back? I don't think so. Especially when I realize how disordered and non-dangerous and how easy to manipulate these. Like, I can manipulate them way easier than they can manipulate me. Like, to me, they're meat on the plate.
Yeah.
So what is my problem? No way. So basically, when it comes to the narcissist, I have a tendency to run towards the sound of guns. And now I realize, oh yeah, actually, it's every adult's responsibility to dominate narcissists. Because if they're not dominated, then our whole society is in danger. So then my next thing I say is, if you're unable to dominate a narcissist, you really have to question your self-assessment as an adult. Because I don't know, a 3-year-old can dominate you? Really? Okay. It's kind of my attitude.
Yeah, and you see that in families where the child has the parent wrapped on their finger, kind of thing.
Yeah.
They'll do whatever they want, like they want to get the newest toy all the time and get favored, and they have a little temper tantrum, and that's accepted and carried on. And,
Like I remember my little boy had us wrapped around his finger.
Mm-hmm.
It was only when my mother came along and she said, "Hey, what the heck is that?" So then we had she could see it. So anyway, but it just goes to show that I'm not that much of a wimp, but the power of a child to manipulate is you cannot ever underestimate the savage power of a child to manipulate you, because it's what they do.
Well, it's also their survival.
Their survival.
If I don't do that as a child, I don't survive.
That's right.
So it's existential, right?
Yeah. So they're not bad.
No, it's just.
But they are
biologically. They're trying to survive.
Yeah. And also, they'll manipulate you when they don't even need to. They'll manipulate you for the sheer joy of manipulating you. So that's why you really have to put your foot down as a parent, because they have no boundaries. They have no limits. They have no rules. It's like a wolf that will kill when it's full.
Yeah.
Just for the sheer joy of killing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Which, I mean, if you think now of our society, what's happening in society at large, the joy of killing, for example, that goes on rapidly.
Yeah, right. For no reason at all. Yeah. And so that goes that perfectly natural behavior in a child, where they can dominate you because they're so skilled at it if you're not watching out. Well, imagine putting that same thing into a fully grown adult.
Exactly.
With the intelligence of an adult and the world knowledge of an adult, and then put that level of manipulation into them. Look out.
And then in position of authority, etc. Right?
Yeah, right. So in other words, they just want to manipulate. And if you're wondering why they're so damn good at it, it's because they remain at the 3-year-old stage who are really good at it naturally. Yeah. And it's their savage nature to do that. So don't be surprised that they're highly manipulative. But also, I'll just return. Yeah.
Well, if they don't do it, they don't survive as well, right?
That's right.
Because they need that drug of external significance all the time. Yeah. They always need to hit that all the time.
Right.
Otherwise, they don't survive. They fade away.
And what do you call it? They also need the lack of transparency. They need to pull the wool over people's eyes. They need to throw shadows on the wall so that nobody turns around and goes, "Wait a second."
Right.
So that's why they work 24/7. 24/7 creating these shadows. Like you wonder, what is their motivation? They're working at this all the time. Yeah. So if you're looking at the global situation and all of these governments going crazy around the world, it's like, where's their motivation to do it? Well, trust me, there's a motivation. And it's nonstop. And it will never end as long as we don't dominate them. And they won't just suddenly wake up and say, "Oh, I see the error of my ways." You will have to pull them off like ticks.
It's like a parasite. It's a parasite.
Yeah, like a parasite.
Or pathogen parasite, right? It just won't stop.
Yeah.
They'll kill the host.
Yeah.
But they'll keep going.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that's a lot of good stuff for narcissism there. We'll end it here. And I'll be posting the next subject for next week. Okay, bye, everybody.